More than 3 decades have passed since the C124 coupes came out of the Mercedes factory in Stuttgart. Back then, the ads claimed that this is a perfect blend between sports and elegance. However, now the second-hand ads usually just say runs and drives. This indicates either that it did not stand the test of time very well, or the car has yet to become a proper classic. By yet to become, I mean the supply is still plentiful. But is it? Over its 9-year production run, a little over 141,000 coupes were made. In comparison, the total number of all the 124s made is 2.5 million. It's impossible to tell exactly how many two-door versions are still on the roads, but here are some statistics from the UK. In the beginning of this millennium, there were about 3,400 coupes registered. And last year, there were only 826 left in the entire country. That makes it quite a rare sight and also a bit of a hazard, as it captures quite a lot of curious stares. Take this drone as an example. This 200 CE is slightly younger. Currently it's surviving its 25th year. The engine is a 2-liter inline 4 developing 100 kilowatts, or about this many horses. The engine recently had its head gasket replaced, therefore it has no problem spinning not only the water pump and generator, but also the rear wheels. And although this car won't be winning many drag races, it will be winning as an everyday machine. It has usable torque, it's quite reliable and does about 25 to 33 mpg. It also has quite a nice distinct sound, which would be even better without the generator bearing whine. Part of that good fuel economy is due to the 5-speed manual gearbox. Not only does it come with 5 speeds, it also comes with 5 pedals, if you count the parking brake and dead pedals. Despite that one needs to go through several time zones when shifting gears, this car is very comfortable to travel as long distances. The newer style seats don't have springs like before, but they're still not too hard because everything is smoothed out by the suspension. Some other interesting details. Like a handful of 90s German cars, the passenger mirror is smaller than the driver's. This is supposedly to prevent someone from scraping it in narrow streets. But there is nothing to prevent from sticking your elbow fully out, as the windows open leaving no pillars behind. Though the closing possibilities might be limited due to a lack of grease on the rails. Nevertheless, if everything is oiled up and working, everyone can witness one of the most elegant seatbelt butler systems. No need for a butler to fold the seats, as these are effortless to move, so much so that they might seem like they're broken. But if the vacuum system has no leaks, they will lock when the doors are closed and the engine is running. Only then, or in an emergency, will this button need to be used to move them. This system dates back to the Mercedes coupes from the 60s and is as convenient as it gets. Of course, the vacuum system can be troublesome, but it's part of the Mercedes charm. While on the subject of charming things on this car, the climate control has 2 zones. Yet, not all of the time. This is most likely due to a sticking coolant valve. The rear window has luxurious invisible heating lines, although now the heating effect is also invisible. To compensate that, the washer fluid, the hoses, and the nozzles all are heated. Everything that has been sprayed on the windshield will be cleaned off by the famous mono wiper. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you its solo performance. There are more nice touches which are not as famous, like the panels between the seats and the center console, which prevent one's precious possessions from falling into oblivion. Although not everything sounds or looks Mercedes, one has to remember that this era is getting seriously old and is in need of some special care. But after getting used to the German logic, it will be quite interesting to wrench on it. Among all of the standard procedures, it's highly recommended to lubricate all of the electrical window and sunroof mechanisms. Check if all of the jacking point rubber pads are in place, especially the front ones. Otherwise, dirt will accumulate in the rocker panels, which will eventually become the future jacking point. Dirt and leaves also shouldn't spend too much time near the drains, because everything will start to drain into the cabin and no amount of catnip or ice will be able to dry it out. Preventive maintenance and frequent use will not only help to preserve, but will also help remembering why the coupe was bought in the first place. Bonus facts: when the EC button is pushed, in addition to disabling the air conditioning, it also starts to blow cool outside air through the center vents. Interior lights dimming is accomplished by turning this dial, which usually serves for resetting the odometer or adjusting the clock. But this dial does not have the power to dim this aftermarket stereo. Yet, it still is worthwhile due to this programmed short film.